The night the fans stood still. The Indian summer was a heavy, invisible blanket. Inside the house, Arka and his brother Samir sat near the largest window, hoping for a breeze that never came. The sun had set hours ago, but the walls still hummed with the day's heat. They played a quiet game of cards, their foreheads glistening under the glow of a single lamp powered by the backup battery. Suddenly, the lamp flickered and died. The hum of the ceiling fan slowed to a rhythmic creak-creak before stopping entirely. Arka sighed and pulled out his phone. The screen's bright light felt like a tiny heater in his hand. He dialed the electricity department, his face tightening as he listened to the busy signal over and over again. Samir walked over to the inverter box in the corner of the hallway. He tapped the plastic casing, but the low battery light gave one final, weak red blink and vanished. "That's it," Samir whispered into the stifling silence. "The backup is empty. No more fans tonight." The air in the house immediately felt thicker, as if the room had shrunk. Arka tried to lie down on his bed, but the sheets felt like they had been ironed with a hot coal. He tossed and turned, his skin sticking to the fabric. He felt a prickly itch growing on the back of his neck, the dreaded heat rash. He sat up, wiping sweat from his brow with a damp cloth that wasn't even cool anymore. Samir appeared in the doorway, fanning himself frantically with a folded-up newspaper. "I can't breathe in here," he complained. "It's like a furnace." He looked at Arka, who was now standing by the open window, staring out into the dark, motionless street where every house was just as dark as theirs. Arka decided to try the porch. He dragged a heavy plastic chair outside, hoping the open air would be kinder. But the night was still and stagnant. The mosquitoes began their high-pitched humming around his ears, and the plastic of the chair felt like it was melting against his back. He checked his watch. It was only midnight. Samir joined him outside, leaning against the doorframe. "The electricity office finally picked up," he told Arka. "There's a major fault in the grid. They said it won't be fixed for another 10 hours, Arka groaned. 10 hours meant the sun would be back up before the power returned. They looked at each other, sharing a silent moment of pure desperation. "The car," Arka said suddenly, his eyes widening. "The car has air conditioning." Samir's face lit up for the first time all night. They didn't need to say another word. They scrambled for the keys and hurried toward the driveway, the gravel crunching loudly under their feet in the quiet neighborhood. The engine roared to life, and a glorious, icy blast of air shot out from the dashboard vents. Arka leaned his head back against the seat and let out a long, shaky breath. As Samir shifted the car into gear, the cabin became a sanctuary of coolness, a tiny, moving island in a sea of sweltering heat. They drove for hours, circling the quiet outskirts of the city. They watched the stars through the windshield and listened to the soft hum of the tires on the asphalt. For a while, the frustration of the night faded away, replaced by the heavy, sweet pull of sleep that only the cold air could provide. They returned home just as the sky was turning a pale, dusty gray. The house was still dark, and Arka felt a wave of gloom return. But as he stepped through the front door at exactly 6 a.m., a sudden click echoed through the hallway. The lights flared to life, and the ceiling fan began its beautiful spinning dance. Samir walked in behind him, yawning widely. "We made it," he mumbled. Arka checked his phone and his heart sank. It was time to get ready for work. He stood in the cool air of the living room, dressed in his uniform and holding a hot cup of tea, realizing the long night was over, just as the long day was beginning.